and I ended at 1305 on the first day.
Yep.
On one
So
character.
I want to have a debate right away because overwhelmingly it seemed like the community was positive towards Vault of Glass. Great loot, great raid. There's some changes this time. Does it work?
He's putting it in a box, baby.
I don't know. Like it might. Does it seem like it's working?
It's definitely a little bit better.
All right, I'm just gonna stick with it just so it's not annoying everybody, and I just built a fort.
Right. Here's my point, though. If you're done with your pillow fort, overwhelmingly, it seems like people enjoyed Vault of Glass. The player numbers, I think, Gigs tweeted out something that there was more/less completions. It was like 6,000 people beat Vault of Glass, but only 2,000 something actually got the like Tempo's Edge, which was like the real day one challenge done.
Yeah, so, that's true. Because I think it was like 5,000 completions of Deepstone, and then this one was like 2,000, 3.
So if you count the normal mode, more completions, but if you just count the Tempo's Edge, less completions. So
and take into account that that's with a lot more players playing the raid too.
Bungie didn't release the like actual numbers of who was in there, how many teams tried it, but you would think that this could even surpass Deepstone Crypt. Now, I want to start a debate right away, like I said, because Tash messaged me and said something along the lines of like, he's seeing a lot of people complaining about day one, that it was too hard and they couldn't get past it, and showed me some tweets. And absolutely, there's people who are like, hey, I got a team and we couldn't even get past the first thing. Like, why do we have to be treated 20 under? What's the point of leveling if you're 20 under? And I said, that's hot disagree from me. That's a terrible idea. I love the day one.
100%. And and this has come from a PvP guy. I'm not a PvE extraordinaire or anything, and I've participated in several day one, with the challenge mode on raids, and it's tough. It's tough. I mean, you got to be on your A game, and I think that's fantastic. And I've missed out on some day one completions with the challenge mode on, and that's okay. That's totally, and I feel nothing about that. Nothing about that feels bad to me. I go back in on Sunday when it's, the contest modifier's off, and we breeze through it because we've already spent, 12 hours in that raid already, so we're ready for it. It's not a big deal. I think it's okay because we've got to have some prestige on it.
But you got to have some... Tash was making the points. He's quiet now, but he was making the point. He's like, listen, it's going to be so much more accessible. You're going to have even more people doing it.
Yeah, but then I thought, like, well, my only argument was like, well, what if you just gave them the choice? Like on day one, it's like you can go in the challenge mode, you can try the challenge, and you can compete for world first, or you can just play normal. But then we were talking about it, it's like, well, then some team's just gonna blast through a raid at way higher level, destroy all the bosses, figure out all the mechanics, and then go back. You just can't do it. You cannot do it.
Nope.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing wrong with contest modifier because you still have the weekend. If you were like, no, this weekend we're getting through the raid, you still have Sunday. The modifier's off, and you got plenty of time before the reset on the following day to make it happen.
Well, yeah, wasn't that the first time the raid was on a Saturday as well? That's
Deepstone Crypt was as well. Deepstone Crypt also was.
But I mean, but if you look at both those, like regardless of how easy it was, I bet you a lot of those completions just because more people are just doing it. Like it's a Saturday, they got the day off.
I have been advocating for this for years. I've been one of the only content creators being like, the 3-day thing is BS. And you gotta understand, this is coming from the guy who did the 6-hour level to Crown of Sorrows and then beat it on a console. The only team to beat on a console, by the way, in that day one. So don't come to me about being too hard. We did the impossible. But seriously, that was bullshit. Like, to level up in 6 hours and get raid ready for Crown was like such a horrible experience. It completely sucks in terms of content because everyone's like farming content with all the new stuff, and you're like in a raid trying so hard. But like, it's more just about leveling is a miserable experience a lot of the time. It's just not super fun and engaging, and you don't feel like you're getting the most out of the new content, right? You can't enjoy Override if you're doing 3 for the pinnacle and then yeet into the next thing as quickly as possible, right?
That's exactly right. This system is so much superior than what we've had in previous DLCs by a landslide. And as someone who's predominantly PvP, I've played a lot of PvE this season because I've been able to pace myself, and there's so much stuff to chase. Especially, can you imagine if this season they launched VOG 3 days after the new season dropped? There's so much loot there to be chased. Like, you would just feel like you're just getting swallowed up in VOG prep. That'd be a big feels bad.
People make a good point though. Garden was on Saturday, but it was that first Saturday, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And again, you have that brutal leveling system that by itself is going to discount a lot of good players, right? And that's the thing. I think there's a portion of the community, like the hardcore, the sweat players, right? I know a lot of them that they'll, as soon as they beat the raid, they go and do low man challenges and all that stuff. Those people think that they're really, really good at the game, and they are, but they don't want to admit that some dad out there, right, is potentially as good as them, and the only reason that dad didn't get that completion is because he didn't have time to play, right? So no. In their mind, everyone's beneath them, and it's now the raids are easier. It's like, listen, dude, I'm telling you, if Garden was that extra week, there would be a lot more day ones for Guard. So many more, right? But again, you have that portion that's like, they can't even comprehend that other players are as good as them, and they don't want that to happen.
I mean, honestly, the only reason I'm able to do the raids is because of your guides that you make. Like, without your guides, I'd be useless. I'd be useless.
I mean, were you on Frostbolt's team?
Oh, I was on his team, all right.
So
the first one is first, second one is second, third one is third, baby.
That was hilarious.
I mean, we ended up just doing like stairs was like right in the middle, right above it, and then we'd be like right side stairs, like it was like higher up, or like right side portal. It was really ugly, but we were staying at, like, I was calling it out on the other side, and so I would have to flip it in my head. So I'd be calling out their right, my left.
Sure,
it was awful.
Sure.
It was just so awful.
When you saw the tactic that I recommended in my video, where you can just run to the back and then face the same perspective, where you like, oh my god, why didn't we think of that? Like, that was like,
we kind of did that, and I think we didn't stick with it because whoever ran back there, I can't remember who it was, just botched it. And we're like, no, let's stick with what works.
That happens. Oh, that happens.
And like when we realized
strategy, even if it's the wrong one.
Yeah, and like we realized partway through, because like honestly, not gonna lie, the first few times we went through, it almost seemed like that they were like in really random spots. Because and like when we were doing the oracles on the first one, it was like we would call it out like 1 on Mtashed, 2 on Frostbolt, and it seemed like we had a pretty good system there. And then in this one, you're trying to call it out, and then it would be like all of them on the left side, and we're like, what the hell? Like, how do we even call that out properly? And it just seemed like we had no good system. We struggled for so long on that. And then when we finally realized, like, oh, there's only those like 5 spawns or whatever, 6 spawns, whatever, it was too late. It was too late to rework it. We were already too deep, and it was like, if we change it now, we're going to be even more mixed up and like. But we were out of the running really early. People were on Atheon before we beat Templar. We just couldn't pull it together for Templar for some reason. So that was probably the worst world first race I've ever done, like position wise, ever. Like, and we didn't even do the challenge mode because we're not even close to winning. Like, there's no chance. I think someone actually got world first before we beat Atheon. That's shocking to me. That's never happened.
Yeah, I had a team that was all just pretty chill, and we kind of realized, and this is, I used to really kind of go hard. I mean, we were on console, so we never had a chance for the day ones, but we always went for those 24-hour completions. We realized like we're never going to get day one, so we just kind of we got like top 100 teams or whatever for beating it normally. Like, we weren't doing that bad. We certainly weren't like going hard. I went make the guide and then came back, and then we did Tempo's Edge and we beat that. Wasn't too bad at that point. So it's one of those things where it's like, you're people are like running Volta Glass weekly for the past months, getting ready, training.
Right.
If you're not doing that, you're not on a chance. Like, the people at the top are so good at the game. They're so talented. They've
got the time to dedicate to
do. They people have like probably memorized the different tones of the oracles and know which one. Oh, that's a higher pitched one. It's on this side. Like, people are really hardcore about it, and they're super talented. But I want to also say, like I said, people don't want to admit that there's some good dads out there, and if you give a little bit more time to level up, they'll complete it. On the other end of the spectrum, I think the whole discussion of like there shouldn't be a contest mode. Shut up. Like at some point, you got to actually be good at the game to get a completion.
And it's a community event at that point too.
People, it's like I still see people on Twitter though. It's like this is inaccessible. It's like, dude, you're just not good enough. That sounds really mean, but you're not gonna be good at everything you do. You're not good enough. You're not, you didn't put in the time. You're literally just not good enough. You can't turn fast enough. Whatever
team
it is,
together, maybe.
You didn't get a good enough team. There's a myriad of reasons, but you can maybe get better. You can get a better team. You can work on your build. You can do whatever.
I'm going to cut you off. No, I'm going to cut you off. Why would I get better when I could just download Ring 1 and cheat? Why would I get better when I could hire someone to just get all my guns for me? You're being stupid, Kackis. Because
honestly, that's a freaking
that's a Destiny community right now, bro.
That's a sad point, dude. Honestly,
wasn't there 13 people playing trials on the weekend and all of them were bots?
I do want to say though, importantly, that like it's just for that 24 hours, and all you really realistically get is like an emblem, and it's just to distinguish, hey, I'm a talented player, I'm good at PvE. And you need that to be a little bit rare. If you got rid of challenge mode, this is one of the few really it's like this and Grandmasters are really the only hard PvE things in the game right now. It's not a lot. So really waiting that 24 hours until Sunday, like that's not that bad. And then it becomes a joke. Like the difference between challenge mode and normal mode is crazy.
It is.
You are melting in one phase that took you 3 phases. It's like so much. It's so much of a difference.
Yeah, 100%. I would tell anybody out there, hey, if you feel like you tried it on day 1 and you felt like it was unapproachable and you haven't been back yet, Vaults of Glass without the contest modifier on it is an extremely approachable raid in Destiny 2. It is extremely approachable. There are 6 raids that are tougher than it is. So
one question.
I want to argue about that. I don't think this is the easiest raid in the game. I don't.
I didn't say
think
easiest.
Deepstone's easier.
Well, but the thing about Deepstone is I think that some of the encounters aren't as friendly to players who like to just go in and have a very simple job where someone's like, this is your job. You just go over there and you just worry about that thing over there. We're going to do all the rest of the stuff. Because some of those encounters do require everybody to participate. Because you have to juggle the hats on Deepstone Crypt. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
You got to juggle the rolls. You got the cooldowns. It's not as simple as, I'll just run the red buff every time and that's it.
Yeah, and you get locked out of them and everything.
I mean, there's a few really like Atheon and Oracles, because you have to shoot them in order. Like, good luck going in there with people who don't have mics, right?
Yeah. But it's already been proven you can 2-man that.
What?
But it's already been proven you can 2-man that.
You can 2-man honestly, dude. Like
I know, but I think that oracles are really not that difficult. You've got 7 oracles, and when you're running with a team of people who have if you have 3 people on the team who have them memorized, you can have a guy cover the front and then 2 guys on the sides, and they can cover all those oracles.
Have you seen blueberries in Override? Have you seen them? These are not the people that are gonna go cover the oracle of the correct. Like, no,
this is yes, exactly. But this is what I'm saying. Like, if you have 3 guys on the team who are seasoned VOG players, you're fine.
I guess but none of them does. I'm saying I don't think this is as free as some people are giving it credit to be. I think that a lot of people had like an advantage because they knew the mechanics because they played the original VOG, right? A lot of people didn't get that. So I don't think this is like raid is like free. You still gotta
say free. I just said it's approachable.
Like a real raid.
It's still a raid, but I think it's one of the more approachable raids in Destiny 2.
Which might be good because it's free to play.
And there's a ton of loot in it.
The loot's great. Fatebringer's great. I did a video on the sniper today. If you get the rewind rounds plus high impact, it's like the top DPS like by a huge margin, because rewind rounds like gives you half your mag back. So if you shoot 7 rounds, you get 4 rounds back. You shoot those 4, you get 2 rounds back. You shoot those 2, then it's done. But still, like, that's insane.
Right.
So the loot's actually good. It's a great raid.
How do you feel about the loot overall, though? I got a Vision of Confluence. What a piece of garbage. What a piece of garbage.
Oh.
And like the sniper, I mean, that's the thing though, is like I'm always gonna look in the PvP way, and it's like it's a
I got
bottom tier sniper in PvP, in my opinion.
I
Like,
got
not
quick draw
great.
opening shot. Like it's not. I mean, it's just in a bad archetype.
Yeah, that's what I
right?
mean though, is like it's just not a good archetype, so it's automatically like
140s. Yeah, unfortunately, 140s got nerfed because of PC, and I always thought that was just a horrible decision. A horrible decision because the PvP player base at the time on PC was smaller than every other player base across the consoles, and that's still pretty true. I mean, there's that ratio's changed a little bit, but it's still pretty true. And I hate that 140s. They were like, let's nerf it because on PC without the recoil you can double body kind of easily, and
Yeah.
and then on top of that, they nerfed low zoom scopes, which 140s almost exclusively had low zoom scopes. So they just got hammered twice, which I think was a really bad choice.
If you get a high impact reserves roll, you can double body again because of high impact reserves, right? So, like, not everything can be the PvP god roll. I think the fact that it's like the highest DPS PvE sniper, it's like that's good enough, right? Fatebringer has been really good in PvP. I've seen a lot of people really like that.
Found Verdict is exceptional in PvP, by the way, too.
The Found Verdict, especially if you consider there's the hard mode coming later, and then the hard mode is going to be the adept version, and it can get like adept range and stuff.
That's right.
That's very saucy.
It's going to be an S tier shotgun.
What about Vex Mythoclast?
The Vex Mythoclast, I got tried for a bit. Apparently, it's not bad because it ends if you pair it with those Titan boots that gives you a damage boost for getting a kill with Solar. Apparently, you can like pop off with that a bit.
If you're Frostbolt.
if you're Frostbolt. If you're Frostbolt,
first
you can pop off. Just kidding. But like that is the thing. It's like really talented PvP players, I'm sure, can pop off. But like me against those really talented PvP players, I'm not. My Vex Mythoclast isn't gonna cut it.
See, Saturday, Vault of Glass was the last time I'm playing Destiny, I think, ever. I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Maybe in Witch Queen, but that was the last time I think I'll play it or plan to play it. I got a couple good Fatebringers, didn't even try them out. I just don't even care at all, which is crazy. Yeah. I had a pretty good time playing with my friends, but I got my Vision of Confluence and I got some different weapons and everything. And other than raids, like the PvE in the game has gotten so boring to me, and PvP, like after one day of getting ready for the raid, playing PvP, I raged. Like I like Alt F4 had to quit. And you know, other than doing the raid with the Primal guys where I was like committed to it, I wouldn't have played for the rest. Like after the first day, I was like, but I committed to it. I played it. It was a good time, but I just don't think Destiny has anything interesting for me anymore. I'm not having fun at all.
It's funny you say that because I've had the opposite experience this season where conversely, well, I mean, I'm having a similar experience with the PvP side of things, but I've actually had a resurgence in my level of interest in the PvE side of things. Like I've been farming Nightfalls every week. I got the Uzume, I got several Hung Juries, I got a God Roll Plug 1. I've been doing the override and then the missions, and then the the expunge mission today. I finally caught up on that because I was so focused on the raid and Nightfalls yesterday. So I've actually been really enjoying it, and I've been diving into like even like lore side of things. I'm like, oh man, why is Lakshmi being so upset about all this? Why is she so testy? And I'm like, bro. And then you're like, I'm going back and I'm like, oh, it totally makes sense, because if you think about her backstory, she predicted the Red War. She knew the Red War was coming, and she didn't push the issue with the Vanguard when they were like, no, Lakshmi, we're not worried about that. And then tens of thousands of people died, and she has that on her conscience. And now she sees a potential future where Mithrax and the Fallen are at the heart of the city and everyone's dead, and she's trying to prevent that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it all makes sense. And so for me, conversely, I'm actually having a really good time interacting with the PvE of Destiny 2 right now. And Vault of Glass coming back was kind of the cherry on top for me. So while it isn't a perfect raid, I was actually a little disappointed. I felt like they needed to do everything or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't bring back Atheon's Epilogue. They didn't bring back Praetor's Timepiece. They didn't bring back the Praetorian Foil. And I was bummed out about that. I really was, because those were three of my favorites. That being said, I loved going in there. I've got several clears with several different teams, and it's just been a blast.
Yep.
I'm glad
I
they
think,
changed up the
though,
oracles and stuff so it like felt fresh for people that
it
have beat
felt
it
a little
before.
fresh, yeah.
Overall, I mean, it was good. I wish I felt different. Like I really wish I did, but I don't know. I'm burnt out. Like I think I'm perpetually burnt out on the game, and like it
Well,
just hasn't changed enough. And I've heard, I've heard rumors. I've heard rumors too, and I mean, I don't want, I can't say anything, but like I just don't know about the future of Destiny at this point. And if it's ever going to be a game that I can love. I mean, I heard the new Overwatch news, and I'm like, damn, maybe I'll get back into Overwatch. There's all these different games I want to try and play, and I think honestly, one of the big things is like I have played other games and covered them, and I've seen those little nibbles of success, and I think it has ruined my ability to want to be married to any game because I see how much fun I have playing a brand new game, and no one knows what the hell is going on, and like trying to make sense of it all. I think I'm addicted to that more than anything. I
That
don't
feeling, sure.
I don't want to be stagnant and only playing the same game and like feeling like a formula. Like how many hand cannons have I reviewed? How many exotics have I reviewed that are almost the exact same? This is a Titan exotic where you throw an extra grenade. This is a Warlock exotic where you throw an extra grenade. Like I feel like it's so samey all the time, and I can't break the cycle. It's a beautiful game. I will recommend Destiny to anyone. To anyone. People ask me all the time when I'm playing Genshin, is Destiny 2, like, is it worth getting into? Absolutely. It's free to start. You can jump in, tons of fun stuff. There's even a Volta class is free now, right?
Yeah.
Volta is 100% free. There's an awesome raid you can do. I recommend it to anyone. I just don't think I can grind it the same way I used to. But
Yeah.
I will say I gotta give them credit because to your point about same, new exotics is just a new version of the same old thing. I gotta give them credit because lately I feel like they have gone a little bit outside of the box with what these exotics are doing. You know,
Yeah.
you've got like the Bacchus is the first time we actually have like an actual hunter on the ground teleport that's directional and controlled. As much as I hate it, it's cool. It's really freaking cool.
All three exotics this season have been crazy. Like
I love
mean,
those
the
Warlock
Star
boots,
Eaters,
dude.
Star Eaters, but that's they nerfed Star Eaters and they nerfed the Hunter or the Warlock well one so fast, and it's like it was so fast. It's like, did you test these? Like literally, did you test these? Because like they did exactly what they said they did. Like it was not like a weird, like I don't know. And then I don't mind nerfing the Star Eater scales so that you don't do extra weapon damage and grenade damage. But now you have to get 8 orbs to get the max bonus. That is
when are you gonna get that? When are you gonna get that? Like multiple people gotta pop supers.
I mean, you gotta have someone running like Ursa Furiosas and just
like,
holding a banner shield in front of you.
Yeah, they were very good. Maybe make it 6, maybe make it 5, or just nerf the damage. Keep it 4, and then instead of doing 60% more, do 50 or 45 or something like that, right? Like, but it's just kind of like that was the first really powerful PvE exotic that hunters got in kind of a hot minute, honestly.
Since the Celestial.
Since the Celestial, and this,
which is the Destiny 1
the
exotic.
problem is that this out DPS Celestial, so it's like, why would you ever use Celestial? So I understand that problem, but it's kind of fast, like how fast and how furious they nerfed it. I don't necessarily think they killed the Star Eaters, but the 8 from 4 is too much, and the Warlock one too, they nerfed that too, because you could basically have an infinite well, because it would just recharge itself, and so now when you are extending it, with 8 orbs, it brings you to 90% more damage. It's like, yeah, okay, so it does more damage, that's one thing, and that's very good, but like 8 orbs is a lot. The maximum you're ever able to produce for like killing is 7. So that's what, so if I have a Thunder Crash that slams on like 5 elites, that's 7 orbs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, at some point you gotta, so the problem with the 8 orbs thing, even if it's 90%, again, like you guys have been clickbaited. You guys got clickbait by the DPS clickbaiters. I'm telling you, you've been clickbaited, because let's start talking about practical in-game scenarios.
Utility,
When
yeah.
you have to get enough orbs to get your bottom tree back and then get 8 on top of that. That's not going to happen. It's like the people who recommended recombination instead of Vorpal for the secession. Technically, it does more DPS if you line up 40,000 things, but in a Grandmaster, I'll take Vorpal every single time.
Oh, dude, they do that with Genshin. There's like one floor of the Spiral Abyss gives you 75% more physical damage, and so the new character, they're like, look how hard I'm hitting, and it's like anyone who's a physical damage dealer does 75% more damage. Like, you're literally hitting double what anyone else in the game can hit. Like, no duh, you're gonna hit like nutty numbers. And they always bait people with that. Like, there's another one that does it with pyro damage, and they show someone hitting like 1,000,000 damage, and it's like that's the only time in the game that happens. They're not doing that everywhere around the map and like power creeping. It's just so like stupid.
Yeah, I think 8 orbs. Yes, it scales beyond that point, which is good. That's my mistake. That's, it doesn't make them as bad, but it's like one of those things where they were so fast and furious to these nerfs, and it's like, dude, it's like this. I don't know. It just kind of felt like we were like really excited about these new exotics. They weren't broken. I remember testing the Star Eaters before it got like the nerf against Atheon, and Titan with Cuirass does way more. 6 Titans with Cuirass can like one phase Atheon.
Your ass. What is
the Cuirass?
Your pronunciation.
What? How do you pronounce it? How do you? It's pronounced Cuirass.
Isn't it Cuirass?
No,
Queer ass.
Nope, it's pronounced Cuirass. Google it. Google it.
I have no idea. I don't know how to read. Let's move on from Destiny, though. Can we move on?
It's a Cuirass. It's a Cuirass.
Can we move on to the other stuff? Because we've been on this topic for a while.
So hey, in the next 2 weeks,
no.
In the next 2 weeks, we got some crazy news.
No, we don't care. We don't care, Kackis. We're moving on. No, we're moving on. We're moving on, Kackis.
Wait, I'm doing this.
Cuirass.
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 Not Cuirass. Cuirass. That's how Google says it's pronounced.
All right, moving on. What were you saying, Ryan? That was so much more important than what he said.
In the next few weeks, we are going to see gameplay and reveals for some hot new titles that people have been really, really anticipating. I'm talking about, and we're going to mesh these two topics, I think, because they both kind of go hand in hand. But Horizon Forbidden West, tomorrow, they're going to be highlighting that over with Sony. They're doing their state of play. So that's actually a big deal, because it was, 11 months ago? 11 months ago was the first time we heard anything about Horizon Forbidden West. And if you remember Horizon Zero Dawn, I mean, it was like game of the year, highly acclaimed. It just, people raved about that game. So this is a big deal to have the next installment. We're actually going to get, like, they said 14 minutes of raw gameplay tomorrow. That's a big deal.
Quite a big Thunderjaw or something.
Reminds me of the Battlefield 4 reveal, where it was just a huge mission. They just did it.
Mm-hmm. And this isn't. And one of the things to remember is that the gameplay they're going to showcase tomorrow. A lot of times they showcase, like, their PC. They get the game. They do get all the capture stuff on PC, so that when they show it, it's all like immaculate and everything. Everything you're going to see tomorrow is on PS5. So it is what you're going to get. They said it flat out. What you're going to see is all PS5 footage. Everything was rendered out on the PS5. So what you see is what you get. There's no.
Sometimes they say that, and it's like a PC rendering in PS5 capabilities. Sometimes,
but they already spoke about that in multiple articles. They're like, no, we want people to see exactly what it's going to look like when they play this game on their PS5. So that's pretty cool. And then in a couple weeks after that, Bethesda and Xbox teaming up. I mean, I guess maybe I undervalued how big a deal this Microsoft Bethesda thing was going to be. Like, it seems like Xbox is really leaning hard into this relationship and is banking on it. So they're going to be teaming up together to showcase
just the optics, right? Where it's like they used to have, essentially this is replacing E3, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So there used to be, this is the Bethesda block, and then there's the Sony block, and then there's the Xbox block. But now it's like Bethesda and Xbox is all one block. We are one thing, right? We are one thing.
Yeah.
And that's a big freaking deal, dude. Like they're really telling everyone that, hey, Bethesda, this is part of Xbox, and their games are our games, and our games are their games. And they talked about how Xbox Game Pass is going to play a big part. So I bet you there's Bethesda games. There's already a ton of Bethesda games on there, but new ones will be on there right away, probably at launch, right?
I'm assuming we're going to see something about Halo Infinite too.
Hopefully,
Because,
dude.
well, I mean, they got the Master Chief in the friggin' graphic showing, you know what I mean?
It's going to be really... That's actually a good point. I really wonder, Tash, what do you think? Hey, since the last Halo reveal, which was kind of a blunder, and we got the
version.
Yeah,
The brute.
Zoomed in brute, which is so many people's profile pictures still. It was memed on. It was rough. I wonder what we're gonna get this time.
More grappling hook footage. I don't know, man. Even that, I didn't really talk about it, but as soon as I saw the grappling hook, I was like, oh, okay.
I know it's such a gimmick,
and it's maybe that's only in the story stuff, but I doubt it. I doubt it. Why would you build that if you're not going to use it? And I mean, you got to do something to spice up Halo, I suppose, but I don't know what to think. Because that was my Halo was my franchise. That's what started me gaming hardcore and playing online. And it's just been
don't believe in it anymore.
It's been in decline. And some people say Halo Reach was this amazing game. I hated it. I think that it was the beginning of the end with the sprint, armor lock, bloom, all these different things. Funnily enough, some of the guys that worked on Destiny worked on Halo Reach, and a lot of the same stuff is in the sandbox for Destiny, like bloom. But anyways, that's another rant. But that happened, and then Halo 4 was awful. Just awful. Halo 5, they actually did some pretty good stuff, but again, it's almost like the audience for Halo is rapidly going away. And it's they're clinging on to people that are now they're 30. They're 35
When's the
to
last
40.
time Halo came out? When did Halo 5 come out? Years ago.
Yeah, with the Xbox One.
So
Or the
hasn't been
Xbox, whatever it's called.
I'm gonna disagree with you. You guys mentioned the grappling hook and you said well, they've got to spice it up. I think the opposite. People want a return to the more simplistic Halo 1, 2, 3 style. Just solid, tight gunplay, not a bazillion new weapons, right? And
Not crazy movement
all that
ability.
stuff, right? We don't need... Do you need a grappling hook? Do you need the Fortnite dances? Do you need Master Chief, dabbing on the haters? When he gets a kill? And
No.
but 1999, Master Chief's gonna dab on the haters.
Yeah, because
you don't
everyone
need
who
that.
plays the game is 40 now. They need a new audience, though. That's the only thing, is if they don't get a new audience somehow, will people even try it? They're gonna be like, "What's this old man game?" I don't know.
Man game.
I don't think that it has a very big audience anymore. It's gone.
Okay, but Sim the Tatman, Dr. Disrespect, Nick Merckx, these are all the people who liked and grew up. Ninja literally grew up with Halo.
Right,
These
big
are people that
influencers.
would go and enjoy a good Halo and bring their audiences with them easily, right? And the child audience is all doing Minecraft anyways. They're
And
not making
Roblox.
Minecraft, dude. Dream farts and gets more views than any of us could ever dream of, right?
I really don't. Yeah, and I think I agree with you, Kackis. I think
So I
there's
don't think it's
nothing
the same
wrong.
audience.
I don't think there's anything wrong with saying no. We're gonna target maybe our target audience is 26 to 45-year-olds.
Yep.
That's fine, because you know what 26 to 45-year-olds have?
Money.
Careers,
Yeah.
money. You know what I
You
mean?
can buy stuff.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. If you're gonna dial in on that crowd and honestly and play to them really well, hey, that's a recipe for success if you can pull it off.
Yeah. And it's gonna be so it's one of those things where I'm not even a big Halo player, but I am so interested to see how Halo Infinite does. It's it is the flagship Xbox franchise. It defined a generation.
That might change.
it made Xbox a thing. Like that was the game to play. They would not be an
Absolutely.
Xbox without Halo.
Yeah.
No, I absolutely agree with you, but I wonder if there's going to be a transition away from it being the identifying Xbox flagship. I mean, they spent all this money acquiring Bethesda, and now they're teaming up with Bethesda to showcase their new titles.
True.
You know what I mean?
And we went over the
Elder
rumor-
Scrolls might be the new flagship.
Well, we went over the rumor last episode that Starfield game, Bethesda's new RPG IP,
Yep.
was going to be an Xbox exclusive, Xbox/PC exclusive potentially.
Yep.
Now, here's an interesting question. Here, I want to just ask you guys something. There's so much push towards the Game Pass. What if they launched just one huge game? What if they launched the next Fallout as an Xbox Game Pass exclusive? You cannot buy the standalone game. You have to be subscribed to Game Pass.
I think they'd get lit up for it. I think they'd get a lot of flack for it.
So, dude,
But
who
it's
doesn't
still a
get lit
good
up?
deal.
Like Bungie's
It's still a
counting
good
their
deal.
Benjamins after the transmog thing. Like nobody cares. Everyone gets lit up for everything. Like,
Yeah.
I think
I don't
that-
think it would be a bad business choice. I'm not
I
saying
think
that.
they might do that, dude.
I mean,
I
you,
wouldn't be
you look
surprised.
at like Netflix originals and Amazon originals and stuff, and
Same
it's
thing.
like if you're on Xbox Game Pass, you're getting access to all that other stuff.
Like,
I mean,
you
yeah,
can't
like
watch-
it's not gonna lose them money. I don't think.
That's a
I-
good example though, Tash, because you can't. Army of the Dead, right? It's called Army of the Dead came out on Netflix like Friday or something. I can't buy Army of the Dead. I don't think I can really like buy a standalone Army of the Dead. I have to have Netflix to watch this movie, and it's a full-fledged Zack Schneider movie.
Right.
So like, will they start doing that with Game Pass? And are people going to be upset? Because it's like, dude, Game Pass is $15 a month. So it's like, dude, buy Game Pass for $15, or it's like less. It's like $10. Buy Game Pass for $10, play the game, and cancel it by the end of the month if you're done with the game. It's like it's less than a $60 game.
Yeah.
Ben in chat says reject Starfield. Says No Man's Sky is different and better. How can you say something's better when
Doesn't
You
exist
don't know
yet.
what
even ow, you don't know
Starfield
jack
is.
crap. You don't even know what Starfield is.
Yeah.
It's like somebody saying, "Hey, there's this brand new drink that I love." No. Coke is better. It's like, yeah. Do you want to hear about it? You want? No. This is better.
That's literally like
you
getting
gotta have an
people-
open mind, baby.
Okay.
That's literally like trying to talk to people about Advanced GG. It's like, I like G Fuel. Have you ever tried Advanced GG? No. It's like, well,
How do you know then?
Why would I try Advanced GG when G Fuel's better? I just said that, you idiot.
Okay, so I actually,
well, speaking of Advanced GG,
what about it?
Well,
Tell
what
me-
about
tell me about
it?
that?
Well,
Tell me about it.
Advanced GG is the sponsor of our little podcast here, right? And Advanced GG they are the OG sponsor. They sponsored us before sponsoring us was cool. They sponsored us before the podcast was even a thing. And because of their funding, that's a big reason we're able to, start off this podcast and justify it. So they make fantastic and the only clinically proven gaming supplements out there. If you want to try it out, there's an Advanced GG. There should be an Advanced GG link in the description. I don't even.
There is.
I think it does. I think it actually works too.
Yeah.
One of the only links that works. Fantastic. and you can use code RGH to save 10% and support all three of us at the same time. And by support all three of us, it goes to a weird fund offshore. We've never seen me and True Vanguard have never seen it. So it goes to
It's-
Mtashed Hot Tub Fund.
It's
Wow.
funny, man. I tried to trace the money, and it literally said Mike Tash IRA. It was like the name of the. I don't know what that.
Limited.
I don't know what that is.
Location, Bahamas. Well, I don't know what's going on there.
Have you guys seen my new office?
Yeah, it's a really nice new office, man.
Look at this the hut I built for my microphone. It's so cute.
The mic stand is solid gold. Like,
Okay, listen.
Whoa.
Let's change subjects. I have something that I forgot to add to the topic list. So one of the things I wanted to discuss is Riot Games. They've got Valorant tournaments going on, pretty damn good viewership. League of Legends still banger. They're making a bunch of money. But they've got like 4 games in the works right now. They've got their Teamfight Tactics, which is coming out with new content. They're doing really good. They've got their Legends of Runeterra card game doing really good as well. They've got tournaments going for it. Now, apparently, they're working on another game, which is a little RPG game, and I think it's called Curse of the something. Anyways, not a lot of knowledge. It might be similar to a Raid Shadow Legends type game, unconfirmed. Unconfirmed if it's a gacha, unconfirmed if it's kind of a turn-based battle system like that. But they've been hiring like crazy for a new MMORPG set in the League of Legends world. And like I've known that existed, but there's been a bunch of different people getting hired on and different job postings for that. And, you know, now that you look at that, with all the different games they're making, Riot Games is kind of like a Blizzard. Like, they're pretty big. If they pull off a big MMO, like, look how big that studio is, the different types of games they're creating. Like, are they starting to rival some of these big studios? Is this going to be the new big studio everyone's hyped about? Because I know Riot's been just kind of sitting there, like, on the side. They've been doing their League of Legends and stuff. No one's been taking them seriously. And now, they're the big poopa of gaming.
Do you feel like Riot Games, like Bungie is trying to do what Riot Games is doing, where they have their flagship IP that started it all, which in this case was Destiny? They're trying to expand with these new IPs, where they're trying to do a Valorant for Bungie, for Destiny. They're trying to do all this stuff. Like, I feel like that's what they're trying to do. And then it calls into question, like, is the support for League of Legends falling off as all these new titles are coming out?
Or do they just expand and they have 4,000 employees?
True, exactly.
Instead, like they've got a studio for each game. If they've still got the views, if they've still got the money coming in, like, I'm sure they can support it. Because, I mean, that's the thing, is like the scalability of that is they just hire more devs. Like, there's millions of people in this world, and there's tons of people that are learning how to be game devs, and there's tons of people leaving Blizzard. There's tons of people leaving all these other companies.
Do you think Riot's over there like casting into the Blizzard pool and just
are they paying them above minimum wage? Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, are they giving some bonuses? Are they giving them some profit sharing? Are they giving them some good benefits? Like, honestly, I don't think. I'm sure they could get some good talent.
Where's the Riot Games? Where's the Riot Games studio located?
Where's their? Yeah, well, I think they have a couple different locations, don't they? I want to say they have.
I think they have one in Santa Monica, or they did have one in Santa Monica, because I went there for the Red Bull event, and we drove past.
But that's another thing. That's another thing. You mentioned Riot.
Yes.
A huge part of their success is esports. Massive League of Legends tournaments, right? Massive Valorant tournaments. And they're raking in so much attention, so much money, so much revenue by leaning into this. And it just makes me more annoyed that Bungie is so wishy-washy and just forgets about PvP. Because it's like, put some love into this. You've got already such a solid grassroots community. Have $100,000 tournament. $100,000, Bungie. Sell one emote. You'll make it back. All right? Like, have $100,000 big Destiny 2 tournament. I know there's like $1 million League of Legends, but let's start somewhere reasonable. And just have this huge tournament, brackets, you have on the big stage somewhere. See if it's viable. See if it works. Because I bet you would partner with Twitch for that. You'd have a lot of eyes on, because Destiny 2 has sandbox problems, yes. But holy crap, Destiny 2 can be a fun game to watch. You make someone has like an amazing play, a 6 snipe, a crack super, right?
Do you know why it will never work? It will never happen. Because all the players that used to be good that played the game don't play anymore, or they got exposed and canceled, and they missed the boat by like 5 years. And the other thing too is people like Summit that did like Destiny won't ever touch it again. And Lupo is gone, and like maybe he comes back. But here's my issue. No. Listen to what I have to say.
They'll come back.
No, they won't.
Yeah, they will.
I do not think so. I think there are so many big content creators that know Destiny exists and don't touch it and won't touch it. And I'll tell you why. It'll never, ever happen, because to adopt, like, okay, so let's say you're a Valorant pro, or let's say you're a Counter-Strike pro, and Valorant comes out, you can take those skills and you can go over there and you can play it. And you can take your Apex skills and go to other shooters. You cannot do that with Destiny, because you have to farm gear. You have to farm so many hours of gear, and no one's gonna do that. No Apex player is gonna be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna put in 90 hours to farm a hand cannon that can compete, or I'm gonna do like they just unless they rebuilt the game and made it so it was like base weapons or exotics only, like Destiny will just never have an esports opportunity. And
You'd
like
say that.
they could have had
Then
tournaments
go
before.
ahead and finish.
Though. They could have had tournaments before when there was like all these little Destiny esports teams and like, you know, the Guardian Con tournament, like it popped off. Like it for sure was fun. But I bet you the mass majority of people watching now are going to be like, what are they doing? What is that ability? What is this? And like, I just don't know if there's enough mainstream hype anymore. Maybe
Here's
before.
what I'm gonna say. I don't think you need it. I don't think you need it. I think if there a few things, a few factors here. One thing I know about gamers is they could have a whole sack full of inhibitions and reservations about a studio, and the second that studio does something good, they just yeet that thing. And they're like, "Hey, man, yeah, Bungie's all right with me." You know what I'm saying? And not only that, but say Ninja doesn't come back, Lupo doesn't come back, Tatman doesn't come back. None of these big influencers come back, and Bungie does something for PvP that's just massive. If they don't, someone else will. Some no-name kid in his basement, 16 years old, is going to get cracked at the game. He's going to farm the game. He's going to farm the loot. He's going to go in there. He's going to make some sick plays. He's going to throw some plays up on TikTok. He's going to start streaming on Twitch. And he's going to be Ninja. He's going to be the next Tatman. You know what I'm saying? There's
what,
so many
though?
people.
Of
There's so many
Destiny?
people who pop. Yes, absolutely.
Of 20,000 or 14,000 viewer Destiny? No, that's what I'm saying though. Is like it doesn't matter if some kid becomes cracked and wins a Destiny tournament that got funded by Bungie.
It does matter because I was a nobody. And I
7 years ago. 7 years ago, and you kicked ass when the game had way more eyes on it. Everyone knows it exists, and no one is playing it. No new people are joining the game.
They will.
It's dead.
They could.
No, I'm just kidding.
They would.
I'm just kidding.
But hold on, I think you're both right. Like that's the thing though, Tash. You don't need to necessarily get Summit to be playing. $100,000. Again, they made over $1 million on the Hunter armor set for they're fine. They can recoup that. It's not $1 million tournament, right? It's $100,000 tournament. That's enough money to get the entire Destiny community excited. You get way more eyeballs on Twitch. You have the Bungie stream is hosting it, and then you just randomly snipe viewers, like because they just look at the browse feature. Oh, Destiny 2 is near the top. It has 30,000 people watching or 40,000 on raid day ones. The Destiny directory is popping off, right?
Yeah,
and it's just something that they could start from little. It's just going to involve the community, and then if there actually is something there, they can expand it. But they're going to need you need to have competitive PvP. Really is super popular, and it gets people super invested. Because just before you said, Tash, why would I go play? You're right. Why would you? That's why there needs to be these tournaments, because why would you hone your craft towards Destiny 2 right now? There's no reason to.
Question though. So one counterpoint. What about Realm Royale that literally hosted $10,000, $100,000 tournaments every single week for weeks and weeks and weeks? They spent $5 million on tournaments, and the game didn't take off. I'm just wondering at what point is it's yes, there's money to be had, and some people are going to win some money playing Destiny, but it's not enough to bring over everyone. Or
Realm
you know what I mean?
You can't.
Isn't entirely based on that one principle though. If the tournaments don't work out, they don't work out. There's still going to be people playing PvE and farming the crap out of the game. There's still that community, that solid base is always there.
Yeah. Okay, one more question then. Is because the game is so old. Okay, so if all of a sudden, like Dota, or let's say Counter-Strike, they announce, we're doing a $5 million tournament. I am not even going to consider competing or playing, because I know how many people have been playing Counter-Strike forever. If Destiny does that, are people going to go, I know I'm good at Apex, I know I'm good at these games, but I have not played Destiny for the last 7 years like some of these psychopaths. I could never catch up. And so they don't even try. That's my worry.
Yeah, but you don't come out of the gate. You don't come out of the gate with a big prize pool. I mean, your first step is fix the mother freaking PvP. That's your first step.
Yeah.
Because then you're gonna start getting. That's how you earn people back. That's how you win back trust. That's how you earn dedicated gamers. That's how you have a healthy player base. That is the first step. And then you can start hosting and investing in tournaments. Step 1 is fix the mother frickin' PvP.
Unlike the healthy player base of our last topic, Biomutant, which we kind of did a little squiggle around to get to this topic, but
Wait,
I
one
do
quick
wanna
thing.
Oh, go ahead.
They're not going to put money in tournaments because they won't even put maps in the game, and they're working on a completely new PvP game. Destiny has no chance. Sorry.
I know. And that's the sad thing. I think someone has got to tell Bungie, someone has got to give them a little bit of a reality check and say, no one's going to give a crap about your new PvP game if you leave Destiny 2's PvP in shambles. It needs to be.
I'm not going to trust them.
Or what if they do
Yeah, they're not gonna
that?
trust
What if
them.
they take that money and that's where they put it? They come out the gate hot with the esports and they try to lure everyone in. Because like Valorant started doing some like tournament stuff kind of early on, and they try to get like the what's it called? Like Twitch rivals and stuff. Like maybe they're just saving that cash purse for the next game. I don't know. Tough to say.
But like again, like they're banking on this crossover. They're banking on goodwill. They want to say from the makers of Destiny 2. And if Destiny 2 is not doing well, that's not going to matter, right?
That's not a good accolade, yeah.
It's
Everyone's
not a
going,
good accolade.
"Sheesh, yikes, bro."
Yeah, exactly. Like man, it's just I think they need to get it into their head that Destiny 2 needs to be really good for that audience crossover for your next IP to succeed, right? And if they don't get that, it's not going to go well for them.
Okay.
Because then they'll have basically used Destiny as a cash cow, extracted everything. There'll be no community left. There'll be no game left. And they'll come out with this new IP that they funded with that, and no one buys it. Then it's like, if that flops, you're done. Everyone's fired. Your studio's done. Whereas if you make Destiny 2 as good as possible, if the new IP flops, it's not going to be good, but you still have this booming game. Destiny 2, you can go back to the drawing board. Like, please, Bungie, do not forsake Destiny 2. You have something solid here. You can't just, like, try to get every cent out of transmog and shader bundles for VOG and all this stuff. You got to make players happy.
Yeah.
Now, I cut you off.
We're coming down to the end of our time. I do want to say just real quick, let's hit that Biomutant topic. Biomutant launched. It was really highly anticipated.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I mean, they did everything right in terms of promo. They showed some really great footage. It was a really innovative idea.
So many big streamers, Gathalion, all these people talking about Biomutant. I followed their Twitter because I just saw so much Biomutant stuff. Looked cool, great screenshots.
Yeah. Well, as it turns out, I think it's important to note this before we get to the verdict on the game. It was made by a group of 25 people. It's literally a startup studio named Experiment 101. They're Swedish. And it's hard because you want to give credit where credit's due. For 25 people, this game is beautiful and it is really innovative. But I think they bit off so much more than they could chew. They tried to make this like a really in-depth RPG with all kinds of mechanics and systems but those systems and those mechanics, I mean, they look on paper like, oh my gosh, I'm an RPG player to the max and this sounds incredible, but they weren't very well fleshed out. So that's kind of a big deal. It's almost like it's a mile wide and an inch deep kind of a situation here. And so there's nothing late in the game that's new or exciting as opposed to what you played in the first couple of hours.
I also heard that like the dialogue and the story and the pacing are really bad, and people are kind of like just playing it. But I've also heard like the combat is good, and so people are kind of just like, ignore the story, just go grind and explore the world and play the game, and you're probably gonna have a good time.
And then other people are saying that the combat is like floaty and doesn't have good feedback. It's so like bipolar.
That caused a bit of a controversy because the THQ Nordic tweeted out the like the guy, it's like the black guy and he's in the white t-shirt and he's like confused and it's like the question marks, that meme. And they tweeted out that picture of him being like, what? And it was like 2 quoted reviews, and one was the combat falls short but the story is interesting or whatever, and then the next one was like, the combat is the best part and the story falls short. And they're like kind of like making fun of the game reviewers, being like, how is it like these are two completely opposite things? And I saw like some people said that's pretty funny, and it's true. Like you get a lot of different opinions in game reviewers, right? You get opinions from people who come from all these different backgrounds. They like things, they hate things. You're gonna get the guy who couldn't jump over the thing in Cuphead. That guy's gonna maybe play the game. He doesn't even know how to shoot. Like you don't know whose opinion to trust, which is part of the reason why YouTuber as reviewers have gone up so much, because you have a background. Like I can watch.
Right. I know this guy.
Skill Up play games. I know he's a competent player. I've seen his back catalog of his opinions. Right. So
and that's rings true for me. So
or if you have like IGN putting up a review, it's like a random game.
One of 12 people.
Like, I don't know who this dude is. I don't know how good he is. I don't know what if I share his interests. Like so. There is a big issue with game reviews, but some people got mad at this. I saw like Paul Tassi tweet out like there isn't like Mr. John M game reviewer and like everyone thinks the same. Like obviously there's going to be different, people. And this is kind of like it's like maybe you guys, should focus on fixing the game, that type of sentiment, but there's also, people who thought it was really funny. So it's kind of an interesting thing. They seem to be handling it relatively well and saying like, yeah, we're gonna have to fix some areas, but like you said, it's just like a few people.
Yeah, it's truly one of the most beautiful games I've seen in a long time. Like it is visually gorgeous. I haven't got to play it, and I will play it. I've just seen some of the reviews. And so it's like I can't judge fully, but
it makes you wonder. Is it like too beautiful? Like True Vanguard said, did they try to do too much? Because
they absolutely did.
Valheim is also a super small team,
but it's very simple. 5 people. Five people made Valheim.
If you have Valheim, a screenshot of Valheim next to Biomutant, people are going to be like, "What is this trash game from a decade ago?" Versus the cutting edge. But when you're having fun, you don't really care about how it looks. And like everyone's into Minecraft and all these games like that. It's like you're willing to sacrifice graphics for fun gameplay more often than not.
Can you imagine if Experiment 101 teamed up with the 5 guys that made Valheim? And it's like, listen, we're good at one thing. You're good at another thing. We're 2 small groups, right? We're not a big studio. What if we joined 4? That's kind of what I got. That's kind of the vibe I got out of Biomutant, looking at that and seeing all the reviews and the gameplay and following that and watching people stream it. It just looked like, man, they have clear strengths. They're innovative with their ideas and their concepts. Valheim, it's Viking Minecraft, right? It wasn't like they swung for the fences with innovation.
Exactly.
But they really delivered on the experience. And then you've got a team like Experiment 101 that says, hey, this is a really innovative, crazy idea in a really cool world that we dreamed up. And visually, we're going to sell it. And they did. But they fell short on all the things that make the experience better. So you got to give credit where credit's due. It's a small team. They did some things really well. They did some other things not so well. I'd love to see what they could do with a bigger team. They sort of compensate for their weaknesses.
I would just love if some games that I'm hyped about launched the universal praise just once. Once. Like, please, for the love of God, can we get some games? I see it. I see the trailers. I'm like, oh, it's amazing. And then it releases and it's just good. It's just good.
Oh, I mean, what was that? You were interested in that New World game, and now they're selling.
And then, there's like a cash shop in it. It's like we're gonna sell experience boosts and crafting materials. And it's like, what are you doing? But then there's that Ashes of Creation game. That one looks pretty good. But it's like, well, what mistake are they gonna make? I hope Riot Games nails it with this League of Legends game that's coming out. And I don't know. I'm so jaded with games, man. I truly, it's like they make the minimum viable product. They get it out the door to see how fast they can milk everyone. And I mean, I know it's not all the developers' fault. It's the people above them that push out the game. Like Cyberpunk, that whole debacle is not because of the guy who's coding.
Yeah, no one wants to make a trash game.
No, of course not. But it gets pushed out. They try to get it out of the door in people's hands, profiting as much as they can. And I feel like a lot of these studios, they need to just realize that you'd probably make more money waiting. Now, I not every dev can do that because there's overhead and you have to pay people, and maybe they don't have the funds and they got to get the game out. But I don't know. I just
I really think that Cyberpunk could have been the next GTA 5. It hit a lot of the same audience. It had visually a much better experience. If they had nailed it, can you imagine? I mean, you think we talked about GTA last week. We talked about how GTA 5 they banked over $1 billion in revenue in weeks.
yeah.
Crazy.
Can you imagine what Cyberpunk could have done if they delivered an updated
didn't.
GTA 5 experience? But
But
they didn't.
they didn't, and that's the beauty of it.
And it's going to affect future sales.
But that's the beauty of it, and that's the beauty of a consumer-driven market. Because guess
That's
what?
right.
We get to decide. If you're not having fun, if you feel like a company's being too predatory, then Valheim comes along and it's the most innocent game of all time, and you just go and play that. Or
And then you're going to make 5 random dudes millionaires.
yeah, and then you go play Among Us and you go play whatever. Like that's the beauty of competition, right? It's
That's
like
right.
you if it sucks when you're very entrenched in a game like Destiny 2 and you don't like the direction it's going, but there's so much variety, there's so much options, and even Biomutant, dude, they're gonna drop down Biomutant on sale. It's gonna be like 40% off, and it's gonna be 100% worth it, right? Or it's gonna end up in Xbox Game Pass. It's gonna be 100% worth it. So, like that's the good news there, is that there's so many like anyone can make a game now. One dude, two or three people made Among Us and became multi-millionaires overnight because that game popped off. Anyone can do it.
One dude made Phasmophobia. He's
One
a
dude
millionaire
made
now.
Phasmophobia, right? Like,
You guys
so-
have interest in making a game? Like, would you ever want to make a game or like hire?
I have zero talent in coding or anything. If they ever need to hire an ideas guy,
That's literally, I know it's such a meme, but I'd be the same. It's like conceptually, yes. Like,
they really, I hate to say it, but you know who they really do need to like bring in streamers, content creators, guys on forums, really entrenched players, and interview. You know who did a great job of that? I hate to say it, but EA does a fantastic job of that because they have the EA. Well, before the pandemic, they had the EA Game Changers, where they would bring in content creators and people who played a crap ton of games, and they would get their feedback. Because people need to understand, before that, they would take random people off the street, make them sign an NDA, and be like, "Here's our new Battlefield. What do you think?"
Right.
And like this dude that you're bringing in might have like never played, or like sucks or doesn't know what he's talking about or whatever. And so I think they are moving towards the ideas guy is kind of becoming a more actual realistic thing that they're like,
Right.
valuing. And the Bungie summits are doing it a bit too.
Well, I remember when I was at the Anthem EA thing, I was standing in a field, swiping like my I think it was on a controller. I was like aiming over an enemy to check the aim assist, and it was like so janky. It would grab at random places, and like you couldn't aim for the head and stuff. And I was doing it for like 10 minutes in a row. And one of the people at EA was like, "What are you doing? We've been watching you in the other room on like the camera, just doing this over and over again. Like, what the hell are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, your aim assist system is like really weak." And I I was like showing them, I was like, "Well, I'm trying to snap to his head, but it keeps defaulting to his body, and that's really weird." And like I like broke all this down. No random person off the street is gonna know that. No one is
You know
playing
what
enough
they-
games
Right.
to recognize, like, man, your
That's
aim assist
right.
system is awful. Like it's
You not
defaulting to the
remember?
wrong
They
spot.
said we all gave them aim assist feedback, and they said we had our random like street from the group. None of them mentioned aim assist.
Yeah.
They had no idea. They didn't even know what
no
aim
one,
assist is.
no one mentioned the flight mechanics, and we're like, you have to change these. No one who came in before us had ever mentioned that the flight was poor, and we were like, if you don't change this, the game's gonna like flop. It was that bad, and they did.
mean-
They made the flight very good compared to what
Yeah.
it was, because before you couldn't.
Well,
if you took off, it would
might
launch
be
you.
still on a little bit of an NDA there. You might want to.
I was gonna ask, I was like,
What do you mean? You can talk about that.
But realistically though, like I'm glad that they are doing stuff like that, because it really does need to be done for quality assurance. Because again, if Bungie would have brought in, Frostbolt, True Vanguard, some random PvP guy in for one day, said, "Here's Stasis, play with it with other developers for one day," they would have said, this is unbelievably broken.
What happened
Or if
to
they
that?
did do that and didn't listen to them, they're idiots.
When's the last time you were at Bungie?
A long time ago.
It's been a while.
Like 3 years?
No.
It's been a long time.
2.5 now? 2?
Yeah, but it used to be like every 4 months. You know what I mean? Like, it
Oh
was
yeah,
like,
but then there was a freaking pandemic, Mike.
Yeah.
yeah. But even before then, like as soon as they left Activision, like they just haven't really flown people out and like.
I've been out there at least 2 times since they left Activision.
I think I might have as well.
I think
They bring me
once.
out whenever they need gameplay from me. They'll bring it out so I can go make videos and hype up their game. They don't actually want to hear what I have to say, so
Yeah, fair enough.
After Dark?
we're already
We're already dark.
thoroughly into After Dark. So real quick, what we're doing is we're going into RGH After Dark, which is fitting thing considering it's just like a black screen for the background now because of the technical difficulties. But so if you guys want to ask any questions, we're here to answer them. So ask away.
Oh no, no, my fort.
I'd say you just look like your head glitching over there just the whole time.
Yeah, I
I
know.
am. My fort is gone. We got a super chat here. We got a $5 from Andrew Preston. Vision of Confluence was never a PvP scout. You want a PvP?
Wrong. If you just said Vision of Confluence was never a PvP scout, you are wrong, my man. When VOG launched in Destiny 1, that was a S tier weapon in D1, Vision of Confluence. We had some big maps. I remember running into the leader of Invigorate. That was one of the OG. You remember Invigorate, Mike?
I do.
One of the OG clans that took Destiny seriously. I ran into the leader of Invigorate, and he dropped like a 40-something bomb on Shores of Time with Vision of Confluence. I still remember that match to this day. I will fight you.
Unfortunately, like scouts died off with big maps, and Bungie just some random guy up somewhere high up in Bungie just went, scout rifles are boring, so we're not gonna do that anymore. Like literally, that's probably what happened. Like scout rifles lead to slow gameplay. I don't like it. And then now every map is close range. They haven't brought back too many of the bigger maps, and the scout rifles never get buffed above a certain point. And in PvE, the same thing is true. PvE scout rifles, they desperately need a buff. It's like, why does it take me like 4 or 5 Vision of Confluence shots to kill a Harpy? Like, what?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make it. I can kill it way faster with an auto rifle doing its minimum damage. It just is so absurd.
I feel like at the beginning of Destiny 2 with the Mida, like it was like one of the best weapons. It was pretty boring, but that might be because there's 4 people like just in a lane shooting it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that was just the primary meta, right?
But like
Because
they've gutted them. They've gutted them. Like they just feel awful. Like, and I got a Vision of Confluence in the raid, and all the Harpies are coming in. I was like, perfect. This like, what a perfect drop. I was shooting these things like 10 times. I was like, are you kidding me? This thing is terrible. I couldn't believe how bad it was. And I had a decent roll and everything. I was just like, what a piece of trash. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's too bad, really.
No, they actually literally said one time in a I think it was a TWAB, wasn't it? When they literally said, we are nervous to make scout rifles too strong because we don't want players just sitting in the back of encounters in a nightfall or in a raid, just because they think back to how VOG launched in D1. Remember when people would just stay up on the ledge and do oracles from the ledge? They wouldn't even go
Icebreaker.
down for oracles.
Yeah.
Remember that? They don't want that kind of game. They want people interacting, which I understand. But I do wish marksman rifles, semi-automatic marksman rifles, did have a place in Destiny. I wish they did.
Yeah, like it's like, yes, Bungie, but at the same time, because you are a little bit more survivable, like you can absolutely buff them and make them not take 7 shots to kill a Harpy and not completely transform the entire game, right? Like it's just not even close.
You know, the other thing you could do too is instead of having like 3 enemies on the map in a strike, is like actually add more enemies and have more density and have some melee enemies rushing you so you don't have time to just be picking things off. You know what I mean? I feel like on some of the strikes, it's like there's like one enemy and you pick them off and you go to the next area and there's like two. It's just so like, I don't know. I just feel like there's not a lot.
It's also like they're like, well, we don't want you standing back and picking guys off, but then
one bang.
Grandmasters, everything one shots you, so everyone stands back and picks things off. It's like, what do you want? What do you want from us, Bungie?
I think the better course of action, honestly, is if they just take, for example, the Nightfall this week, Insight Terminus. The very last encounter, you literally can't sit back and play passive on the boss.
By gladiators.
You're rushed by gladiators. It's a small arena. Part of it is just encounter design. You don't have to let sitting back and camping be an option. Just by design, you can control the parameters of the encounter and not have to worry about that. So buff scouts, and then just design encounters where sitting way far away from the combat isn't even an option, and you're fine.
I mean, Battlegrounds was a great enemy density. I don't know, Tash, did you ever play like a Battlegrounds?
Yeah, I did. It was full. Like it was really full.
Tons of enemies, yellow bars. And so someone would do like a super, someone would do a chaos reach, and orbs would just be flying because you kill like 2 or 3 yellow bars, right? And so that would chain everyone's supers. Really fun. I feel like they dialed it back even for Override. I feel like the enemy density in Override is less than Battlegrounds. At least it seems like it. So
have you guys been now that the season's been like a little bit further, you've been playing some other games or anything?
I played a tiny bit of Mass Effect.
Oh yeah, I saw
shout
that.
out to EA, gave me a code, or my guy at EA, our boy at EA, Andrew, gave me a code.
Love him.
Absolutely.
He just became a father. He just had a little boy.
You did really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congrats.
That's one of the things people don't believe you because they're like EA's an evil empire. Literally the people at EA are like the nicest people.
Everyone I've worked with been great.
They're like the nicest, easiest people to work with. I swear. Like the EA gets a bad reputation, but dang, they hire some amazing people who work with communities. So I've been playing a little bit of Mass Effect. That's about it. I'm so busy with Destiny. I'm doing it nonstop. I literally have a teammate in the chat bugging me to get back to spoil farming. So it's just so busy.
You farming spoils tonight?
Brother, I am farming spoils tonight. You want to farm some spoils tonight?
Yeah.
Have you seen my video on you just Templar kill? Oh my gosh.
You just double slug him?
100 spoils in an hour. Over 100.
Oh,
if you got room, I'm in, man.
Can I come too?
Shut up, Tash. Yeah, I know you're not serious.
Do you need
rewind 30 minutes. I'm never coming back.
Do you need another guy?
I know he's starting. I know this tone. I know this tone.
Don't feed it.
I know this tone. You think you can trick me? You think you can trick me? Get out of here.
You can't smell the snow, man.
I don't know. Like if Witch Queen changes the game and they change all these systems, like I want to love Destiny. I just don't, and I can't shake it. So I'm not going to force myself. Like it's a good game. It's just when you play for 3,000 hours, I think that's when the issues start.
Talk too much about Destiny, but it really isn't. We've said this before. It's like the thing that, especially for players who've been playing for a long time, it's like it's that weird feeling of like this game's good. A lot of good things about it. Even this season, I love Override. Love the weapons. Like the weapons are super unique.
Yeah.
But it's like that weird feeling of like the game's been better. With Forsaken, even like maybe Black Armory, Season of Dawn, you were having more fun. Those activities were better. And you're like, wow, it's such a weird feeling that like the game's been better. And especially a lot of those things are gone now from the game. You can't do them anymore. So like it's a weird feeling because then you feel like you're playing and having fun, but you feel like it could be funner.
Yeah.
More fun.
And again, I think it's just like a burnout thing. Every game I play, I end up like quitting. Is it because I start realizing all the mistakes in the game, or is it just because I'm bored now? Like I don't know what the answer is, but I think again, I just want to experience new things, and like that new Division game, can't wait to try it. Cannot wait to try it. Who knows if it'll be good? I mean, honestly, no. I'm terrified of every new game launch now. I don't know what to expect. I might become like a movie channel, like reviewing.
Good luck
Legally
posting
Blonde 2. I don't know.
Good luck posting a 1 millisecond clip from a movie and getting copyright claimed on YouTube. Like, come on, dude.
I'm gonna be
Right.
called, instead of Watch Mojo, I'm gonna be Watch Mikey. Like,
Watch
top
Mikey.
10 bathtub scene.
Top 10 thickest Genshin booties. Like,
I already made
mean,
that video. Trust me.
That video probably pop off. All right, gamers. I think I got some stuff to do. I know you guys do too. Tash has got to fix the entire stream for next week. So we're gonna cut it a little. Well, not really cut it short. We're cutting it exactly on when we
An hour
usually
and a
cut it.
half. Yeah.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching the Real Gamer Hour this week. He's Mtashed over there. Or over there.
I'm Mtashed.
I'm KackisHD.
I'm True Vanguard.
And we will see
Thanks,
you next
y'all.
Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Goodbye.